You are listening to the Female Accountant Moms podcast with Dawn Goldberg, CPA. This is episode number 36, Recovery from People Pleasing. Welcome to the Female Accountant Moms podcast, the podcast where busy female accountants who also happen to be moms like you get practical support and solutions you need to have it all, a successful career and a happy family. If you are looking for the solution to overwhelm and mom guilt, if you'd like to feel better and have more balance,
welcome back,
as well as learn how to
the
take back
show.
control of
Hope
your
you're
life,
doing well.
you've come to the right
And
place.
before I get started, this week is going to be a good one. This is a really good episode. But before I get started, let me just ask you if you can do me a favor. There have been thousands of downloads of this podcast, and I would love it if you would just spend a minute leaving a review on iTunes. This would help everyone to find out about the podcast and to get the information that I have been sharing. So I would really, really appreciate just spending a minute of your time leaving a review. Thank you so much in advance. Okay, so this is episode number 36, and the title is Recovery from People Pleasing. I was listening to a podcast recently where I heard the following statement. The statement was, "People pleasers are liars." And the host went on to explain her reasoning. I was captivated. She didn't use the word liar in a derogatory way, but rather in a you're not being truthful to yourself kind of way. And so many women wear the badge of people pleasers, especially mothers. On the surface, using the term people pleaser, it seems nice. Right? It seems like all you want to do is make people happy, and what's wrong with that? You may not even label yourself as a people pleaser. You just consider yourself a nice person. Doing for others allows you to feel loved and valuable. You also may believe that pleasing others is what a good mother or a wife or a friend does. But like the previous statement says, what if the habit of pleasing other people means you are being a liar? What if you are actually attempting to manipulate people into liking you or thinking positively about you at the expense of your own truth? So this week I'm going to explore the truth about people pleasing and how to recover from the need to people please and begin to, more importantly, please yourself. So I'm going to start with the truth about people pleasing. In an article by Psychology Today, the 10 signs that you are trying too hard to please are the following. Number 1, you pretend to agree with everyone. Number 2, you feel responsible for how other people feel. Number 3, you apologize often. Number 4, you feel burdened by the things you have to do. Number 5, you can't say no. Number 6, you feel uncomfortable if someone is angry with you. Number 7, you act like the people around you. Number 8, you need praise to feel good. Number 9, you go to great lengths to avoid conflict. And number 10, you don't admit when your feelings are hurt. So, does any of this sound familiar to you? Well, after reading this list of people-pleasing signs, I had a much greater awareness of myself. I've always tried to be my own person and not allow myself to be taken advantage of. But I was honestly a little shocked at how many of those items applied to me. So in general, people-pleasing is a pattern of thinking and behavior where you prioritize what other people think over what you think. You are trying to please others and willing to sacrifice pleasing yourself to do it. The reason that this podcast host that I previously mentioned was describing people pleasers as liars is because you are not being true to yourself. You are, in effect, tricking people into thinking and believing something about you, usually without being fully aware of the manipulation. Let's say, for example, you are invited to a party by a friend, and deep down you don't want to go, but you say yes anyway. The reason you say yes is because you want this friend to think you are a good person. You want them to say nice things about you to the other people instead of complaining that you didn't go to the party. Of course, it's understandable that women suffer with the need to please others at their own expense because, let's face it, as young girls, you are socially conditioned to make other people happy. You're taught to go along, to not make waves, and to not be difficult. And eventually you get the message as a woman and as a mother that prioritizing yourself is selfish. You're taught by observing older females in your life that it's your job to make sure everyone is happy in all of your relationships. For example, you're going to dinner with your sister and you need to decide where to eat. You don't want her to think that you're controlling or that you're difficult to please, so you tell her, let's just go wherever you want. But the truth is that you wanted to go to a place that serves vegetarian options, but you go along with what she wants to make her happy. And before you know it, you have created the habit of putting other people's feelings before your own. Your brain now believes that this is what you need to do in order to be liked, to be accepted, and to be valuable. This habit can then become as strong as any other addiction. Whether it's overusing food or alcohol or spending, the overuse of trying to control other people's thoughts and feelings about you can create a life that is unmanageable. So now we're going to talk about how to recover from the need to people please. As with any addiction, the key is acknowledging that there's an issue. Without this acknowledgement, there's nowhere to go. There's no future version of you that is free to just be. And once you've acknowledged that you have a strong need to please, then it's time to learn what's really going on. It's time to shine the bright light of truth on what you have been doing and why. So the truth is that you have most likely been making up a story in your mind about what you believe other people want or need, often without anyone making a request. You have been trying to control how other people perceive you. You may make assumptions about what the other person will think and feel if you behave a certain way, and then you create an expectation that can become a breeding ground for resentment. So let me give you an example. You may assume that your boss will be impressed that you worked extra hours over the weekend. However, when you let him know about your extra effort, he doesn't say a word, and he tells you the next project he needs you to work on. You end up walking away feeling resentful of his lack of acknowledgement, even though he actually never asked you to work the extra hours. Now, on the flip side, other people may have an expectation of you because they believe they will feel better if you meet that expectation. And it's easy to fall into this trap because most people aren't aware that their thoughts create their feelings either. So let me give you an example of that. So let's say that your aunt wants you to come to her house for Easter, and she tells you that having you there will make her happy. She complains that no one comes to visit her enough. Now, you'd rather stay home, but you agree to go to make her happy. Then Easter Day comes, and she's happy for probably about a minute, but then her habitual thought patterns kick in, and she's thinking about all the people who didn't come. Now she's no longer happy, and let's face it, neither are you. So if you can't control other people's feelings, then why are you caught up in the vicious cycle of people pleasing? Well, it's because you are using the actions you do for others as a way to either feel positive emotion or avoid negative emotion. So you want to feel happy and liked, or you don't want to feel anxious and guilty. And you believe that your actions will make you feel better without realizing the truth. And the truth is that you can feel any feeling on purpose by the thoughts that you choose to think on purpose. You can skip the people-pleasing habit to feel better or to feel less awful because your feelings are always within your power. You just haven't been aware of it. You no longer need to manufacture a pretend version of yourself to feel accepted and liked because it never works. Other people have thoughts and feelings that you cannot control. However, you can control your own. If you want to do things for others as a gift to them, that is not people-pleasing. And the key is in the no strings attached thoughts that create the desire to take action. So let me give you an example of the difference. So let's start with a non-people pleasing thought, right? This is what you want. So I want to help her with her laundry because she's been working so hard. I'm feeling love and want to do something loving. So that comes from a place of non-people pleasing. Now, the people pleasing thought would be, I really don't want to help her with her laundry, but I want her to think I'm a good person, so I'll do it. I'll feel guilty if I don't do it, so I just get it done. Now, what often creates the addiction to people pleasing is the desire for outside validation. And the more you crave validation, the more you will people please in order to get approval. This addiction gives your brain that dopamine feel-good hit, which creates more beliefs and desires to please others. And over time, the high that you get stops feeling as good, so the need for a fix becomes stronger. If you are ready for an intervention, then I suggest you take the following steps. Number 1, admit you have a problem and acknowledge that you are not in control of how other people think and feel. Step number 2, recognize what thoughts and feelings you want to have that are driving your desire to people please. Do you want to believe you are a good wife, mother, or employee? Do you want to feel appreciated, happy, valuable? And the last step, step number 3, start taking control of your own thoughts by choosing your thoughts on purpose. Choose how you want to feel and choose the thoughts that create that feeling for you. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you've been watching The Walking Dead with your husband because you want him to think you are a good /fun /cool wife. But the truth is that you don't like violence. If you've been trying to feel connected by trying to please him, you can instead practice thinking thoughts like, I can choose to not watch the show with him and still be a good wife. Or you could have the thought, I can have a connection with my husband without doing something I don't want to do. So depending on how strong and how long your people-pleasing habit has been in place, your pattern-seeking brain will naturally resist your desire to change. It will give you all the reasons why staying the way you are is in your best interest. So I'm going to give you a challenge. When someone enters recovery from alcohol or drug addiction, they are encouraged to abstain for 90 days to start with. And this basically gives the body a chance to detox from its false modes of pleasure. So my challenge to you is for the next 90 days, I challenge you to say no to people pleasing. And during this time of detox, you may experience fear, you may experience resistance, bargaining, or any host of negative feelings. Let those feelings surface and write down the thoughts that are creating those feelings. This is where your power is. This is the best news. Once you are aware of those thoughts, you can begin to challenge their validity and choose better feeling thoughts. Before you know it, you will be on the road to recovery by being in control of your emotional life in a way that your addiction has made impossible. It is so worth the steps of awareness, acceptance, and action in order to honor the most important person in your life, and that is you. So in summary, in general, people-pleasing is a pattern of thinking and behavior where you prioritize what other people think over what you think. It's understandable that women suffer with the need to please others at their own expense because as young girls, you are socially conditioned to make other people happy. Once you've acknowledged that you have a strong need to please, then it's time to learn what's really going on. On the flip side, others may have an expectation of you because they believe they will feel better if you meet that expectation. And finally, you can skip the people-pleasing habit to feel better or to feel less awful because your feelings are always within your power. You just haven't been aware of it. So there you have it. I told you this was a good one. Recovery from people-pleasing. And as I share every week, my husband, he checks my blog for me and leaves me some notes, and we discuss it a little bit. And he said, to be honest with you, he goes, I feel bad for you ladies. He goes, I just don't think men from a young age are, programmed to be the people pleasers. And on the flip side, we're probably more programmed to be the recipient of someone else's people pleasing. But he said it was a really, really good point, really for anybody. It isn't just a female issue, but he said, growing up as a young boy, this was just not an issue for him, but he could totally understand why it would be just so damaging for women. So I hope this was really helpful. And as I said in the beginning, I would love it if you could just leave me a review on iTunes. It really does help to get the word out and to help as many female accountant moms as possible, because we could all use a little support. So I hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like what you heard, be sure to click subscribe on your podcast app so you never miss an episode. You can also get my 5 simple steps to reduce overwhelm today for free by visiting me over at cpa-moms-coach.com. If you'd like some free coaching around an issue you are experiencing, go over to my website and schedule a free mini session.